Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video is all about what you may have missed in the latest chapter of Lock. Let's go. Have you noticed how since the beginning of the game, Ubers has always controlled the pace of the attack, moving the ball exactly as they want to stretch the defense and only going for the kill when they feel it's the right moment? If you agree with that, then you must agree that this last attack wasn't exactly Ubers like. First of all, they almost lost the ball thanks to Isagi and Raichi remote defense. Then we had Aiku playing the cleaner's role as Snuffy was man-marked. Aiku got the ball back from Isagi and immediately sent a pass forward to take advantage of the space open in the defense. With the aim of counter-attacking quickly, Aiku's pass was a heavy one and aimed at Barou's left side, which means Barou had to either make a direct shot with his left foot or at the very least, he had to trap the ball with his left foot. Now look at my boy's face as he traps the ball. The struggle is real. There's only few players that could have perfectly trapped that ball, Sai or Nagi. So the whole setup wasn't ideal for Barou. We have to agree on that. And it doesn't have to take anything away from him as a striker. We all know that Barou is a physical monster. The guy can use his head to score goals if in the air, but when the fight is on the ground, it is quite obvious that given his weapon, Barou much prefers to have the ball on his right foot. Also, since we have actually never seen Barou use a direct shot, it is safe to assume that it isn't something he can use as efficiently as his mid-range shot. So given the way the ball came to his left side, to make sure that he would have more chance to score, Barou had to bring the ball to his right foot. He does so with a chop dribble, sending Grim, who did good by the way, to the Shadow Realm. At the same time, this gives Birkenstock enough time to come back and attempt to block Barou's shooting course. A lot of people have been complaining that the Bastard Munchen defenders are NPCs and that they get carried by Isagi and Kaiser, but I have shown times and times again that the Bastard Munchen defenders are always marking someone and they cannot be at two places at the same time. Many people will overlook the defensive awareness shown in this chapter. First, we have Grim tracking back to cover for the open space. Furthermore, the aforementioned action by Birkenstock, who came to the rescue. He didn't attempt to tackle Barou as this could have been a foul. All he did was attempt to block the shooting course, and yet Barou still managed to get a shot off. What a monster, quite fit for a striker aiming for the top. Something I feel like is never talked about is how Gagamaru has two ways of reacting to situations. The first way is all about trusting his instincts, his sixth sense or however he calls it, giving us the following formula. The second way is the analytical one. Given the situation, Gagamaru carefully analyzes it and manages to come up with a possible future of how it could unfold. If the future he has envisioned turns out to be true, he already had a step ahead and will react accordingly using what I can call normal reactions. But if it doesn't turn out as he had foreseen it, Gagamaru is usually either caught off guard and cannot do anything meaningful, or it doesn't react at all and freezes. This gives us the following formula. The only times Gagamaru is shown to react accordingly when his prediction had been wrong is when he is into flow. When that happens, Gagamaru envisions a future and leaves whatever happens next to his intuition, sixth sense, reflexes. So, if the play unfolds as he has foreseen it, he will block it quite easily. However, if it isn't the case, Gagamaru reflexes kick in and he is able to pull off something crazy. So, it seems to me that Gagamaru's formula when he is into flow is the following. This is exactly what happens in this chapter. Gagamaru first wants to rely on his instinct, but his analytical brain kicks in as he's in flow. So what does he do? He stops to carefully analyze the situation. Gagamaru knows all about Barou's weapon, so when Barou uses a chop feint to get the ball back to his preferred foot, Gagamaru doesn't seem to be the least bit surprised. Again, our wild beast is still in analysis mode. As Birkenstock catches up to Barou, Gagamaru ponders over Barou's shooting timing. His instincts first tell him that Barou will repeat what he did before. That means take the shot when Gagamaru's line of sight will be obstructed. Gagamaru quickly realized it had to be hit. Now, fully certain of what will happen, Gagamaru prepares himself mentally to react by reflexes the moment he won't be able to see Barou's shooting motion. All that's left to do is let his wild beast reflexes take over, and Gagamaru, who initially thought of only deflecting the ball, quickly realized he can even do better. My boy catches the ball, get up quickly so that Bastard Munchen can do what they do best, counter-attack. Bastard Munchen Guardian Deity sends the ball to Isagi and even calls him Ace. Talk about our MC slowly but surely taking over Bastard Munchen. Barou's whole Predator Eye shtick is about shooting not when he wants to, but when his prey has lowered its guard. Earlier in the game, when Barou scored, all the conditions were met. Gagamaru's line of sight was obstructed and Gagamaru took a half step to brace himself, and Barou pulled the trigger at that very moment. Gagamaru couldn't react because at that moment he was still at the analysis phase of his formula. So, you bet he couldn't do anything. So, what happens in this play? Only one condition is met. Gagamaru's line of sight is blocked, but Gagamaru hadn't lowered his guard nonetheless. Yet, Barou still took the shot, which means that Barou took the shot exactly when he wanted to, which contradicts the whole Predator's Eye shtick Snuffy taught him. There wasn't even a need to use the Predator Eye in this very play. I won't focus on Barou too much as this isn't a Barou-centric video. But one thing I will say is the following. The king is growing frustrated and impatient. He was rushing himself on that play, and compare that to Kaiser who, when growing impatient, still managed to remain calm and score a banger. There are levels to this. Simple as that. Isagi gets the ball and quickly starts a counter-attack followed by Noah and Yukimiya. As the play continues, we get to see yet another side of Uber's way of playing football, reckless tackles. We saw that since the beginning of the game. First, we had that Nico tackle on Isagi, then we had the Arius tackle on Kaiser, and now this by Aiku, who quite literally went for Noah's ankle. The ref gave advantage as Bastard Munchen still managed to keep possession of the ball, but I hope that Aiku gets a yellow card for this. Also, it is worth noting that this would have been a tactical foul by Aiku if the play had stopped right there and then. Granted, he would have gotten a yellow card, but he would have stopped the counter-attack nonetheless. This is militia right there. Igaguri, watch out, you are no more the only master of those dark arts. When Isagi got the ball from Gagamaru, notice what Yukimiya says. How are you going to finish them off? This means that Yukimiya had already accepted to play the support role in this whole play. Quite the character development from him. Having understood that dribbling on his own isn't always the smartest move, and being fully aware that Isagi is a quantum computer on the field, Yukimiya knew that he had to do everything to support Isagi in this play. I love that for him as a character. Yukimiya now knows when to be the protagonist and when to be the sidekick of a bigger protagonist depending on the situation. That takes nothing away from him as a player. I am now fully back on the Yukimiya train. Our MC and Daredevil are now in charge of the counter-attack since Noah was taken down Assassin's Creed style. Isagi managed to carry the ball and around 30 meters away from the goal, he passes it to Yukimiya. As usual, Uber's defense stays consistent and still follow the very same strategy Nico highlighted earlier in the game. Strategy that Isagi already knows how to beat. Charge in without slowing down. Our MC knows it best. If someone is doing the same stupid thing that got them slapped in the first place, guess you just have to slap them again. Isagi passes the ball to Yukimiya and notice how Abdi doesn't charge in. He's keeping his distance and Yukimiya is buying time while Isagi sends Aryu back to the land of giants with a Shido-esque off-the-ball movements. Please no Aryu slanders. The guy is an aerial monster, but when the fight happens on the ground, he really can't do much. People who play sport know it all too well. The taller you are, the harder it is to quickly change directions. Conversely, the shorter you are, the easier it is for you to move your center of gravity. In short, Isagi had Aryu in checkmate right here. Isagi is already about to change direction when Aryu is not even done reacting to the previous trajectory. There is no way in hell Aryu could have done anything except for a foul. This timing while doing off-the-ball movements is something Isagi learned by watching Kaiser in the Munchen City game. Isagi off the ball were already great, but now he is world class. I will make a dedicated video on this so people can have a better understanding of it. Also, peep how Isagi uses his hand behind Aryu's back to ever so slightly slow him down while Isagi moves into his blind spot. Elite off the ball movement. The course is clear. All Isagi has to do is get the ball to his feet and score the winning goal. However, this isn't quite what happens as Yukimiya, although he made the right call to pass the ball and in the right timing too, his execution was poor as he didn't take the whole flow of the game into account. This is what happens when someone cannot read the field at the highest level. Please, if you have made it this far, please make sure to like, subscribe, and enjoy the video. If you notice carefully, you will see that Lorenzo is close enough to Yukimiya as he made that pass, and Lorenzo even tries to stop the ball. But we also know that Lorenzo will never leave Kaiser free. So what happened? The answer is simple. Kaiser is changing. Earlier in the game, when Isagi and Corona counter-attacked, where was Kaiser? Doing his own thing while in lockdown. But since the goal he has scored, Kaiser has fully embraced the fact that he will score even if he has to feed off Isagi's scraps, because despite the fact that he is a genius, Kaiser's original strategies haven't worked even once this game. Kaiser is well aware now that Isagi is the game changer, the eye of the storm. Isagi is the one at the center of major chaos in the field. Kaiser knows that whatever Isagi does, he has to be nearby to feed off the scraps. Kaiser has fully embraced that painful reality, and this is why, in contrast to that play where Isagi scored earlier and Kaiser remained detached from the action, the German Emperor came closer to the eye of the storm. Kaiser came closer to Yukimiya so that if something happens, he can steal another goal. And since Lorenzo will follow Kaiser wherever he goes, Lorenzo also happened to be closer to Yukimiya and even attempted to stop the pass. This is what happened. I think I will have to make another dedicated Hiyori video at this point, and I have to drop it before he gets subbed in. So watch out for that, guys. Please stay tuned for my next video, and please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. We are almost there, 200 subscribers. Let's go.